skills would such an industry call for?
I think a lot of that depends on what kind of area of expertise you're looking at within that industry. One of the things which is very nice about video games as a development area is it pulls together a lot of disparate creative skills. Typically it's regarded as software engineers or programmers, artists and designers. And typically those skills don't exist in single people, they exist in groups of people working together. And that's a real challenge for anybody going into the games industry or into a creative industry, is that you have to work with people that come from a very, very different background. Software engineers are essentially scientists and very logical. Artists are essentially not scientists and generally not that logical. So working in whether it's any kind of creative environment, whether it's a games company or web development or anything of that nature, is about that collision between different cultures and learning to deal with it and embrace it and to get wonderful results from doing that.
Do you see the possibility that such an industry will pick up in Malta?
I see no reason why it shouldn't. One of the nice things about the games industry is that it's a global phenomenon. So there are large development communities in Europe, in Canada, in the US, in Australasia and in China. Historically, for the games industry to be successful in a region, it's always required smart, creative people. And from what Charles and David have been saying about the creative computing course here, it sounds like Malta has smart, creative people in abundance, given the high number of firsts and 2-1s. I think one of the other things which is very beneficial for Malta is its broadband provision. The games industry doesn't rely heavily on existing infrastructure. You don't need to have a shipyard to make games. You don't need to have an oil refinery or stuff of that nature. And you find that makes the games industry, and by and large the sort of interactive creative industry in general, very open to being anywhere where there's opportunity. What
needs to be done from the human resources perspective?
People have to be trained and they need to get experience. One of the things, if you look back at how the games industry has grown up certainly in the UK and the US, the original pioneers tended to be smart people with decent degrees going off and doing it. The games industry, and I think creative industries in general, rely on experience and experiential learning. So it's a case of people being able to get into an environment where they can just do it and doing it. You can see from the success of something like Apple's App Store that there are lots of people all over the world creating products, and a percentage of those products are very successful. And the App Store doesn't discriminate or dictate which parts of the world those products.
Mr. Barbara, you are responsible for the department within St. Martin's regarding this industry. What are you providing for this industry? Are you providing for this industry in St. Martin's?
The most important asset we have is in fact our faculty, which is made up of teaching staff who, not just from their teaching skills, but even from their own experiences, can serve as role models for these students. So we are lucky to be endowed with lecturers who have game developing experience, filming experience, the personal attention that my staff can provide to the students, their ongoing experience, and their passion for the subject is one of the key elements which I find drives these students. We have had part-timers who have used this degree to either improve in their position in their own company or even move towards more challenging posts in the IT sector. In case of the full-timers, we are graduating these students for the first time next year. So on the other hand, even through summer, etc., we have had our students who have been employed by local IT companies with great success. Next take-up is we're signing off in October with the full-timers and September with the part-timers. So,
is there interest in the market?
Yes. The requests that we get through email, through phone, by attendances in a version meeting, yes, the interest is there and we're ready to provide.
Does St. Martin's offer other ICT degrees rather apart from the creative computing?
Over the past decade, the mainstay course has been the Computing and IS, which offers the more traditional degree, if you like, focusing on the computing aspect, but also backed up by the e-business, the network technology, artificial intelligence, neural networks, which has been quite a success, as we have seen. Another degree that we have is the ISN management degree, which we are presenting as the degree for the manager of the 21st century, wherein in the future, all managers have to be savvy with the technology. They must be fluent with the jargon that the IT department will be using in such meetings. So such a degree, whilst not going deep into programming, say, gives the student enough familiarity with aspects of databases, HCI, networking, software engineering, to be able to talk level with the IT manager and his department for the needs of the company.
I would like to ask Dr. Brownrigg for his concluding remarks, and later Mr. Theuma as well.
It's great to have an opportunity to talk in this kind of program. I would like to return to one issue, which is on admissions and the question of what makes somebody good enough to study for a degree. I can't speak for other universities in other countries, but certainly in the UK, a combination of finance from the government, physical space in buildings, and a requirement for minimum standards means that the actual level of somebody to get on to a computing degree at Goldsmiths is much higher than that to get onto the external system. So we have a limited number of places. The wonderful thing about the external system, as it's been for over 150 years, is that we have no number limits. So the standards we set for entry are those we consider the minimum for somebody to have a fair chance of progressing on the program and getting a reasonable degree. The fact that so many do well is a measure of their commitment, the commitment of the teachers, and the effectiveness of our standards across the world.
Mr. Theuma, your final remarks, please.
I'm going to take a point from what you said and also how Mr. Barbara answered with respect to job opportunities. Obviously, as principal, I continuously meet with entrepreneurs here in Malta who set up ICT companies or who run ICT companies, many foreign companies who come over to Malta to set up here. And obviously, I continuously monitor what is going on in the island. In fact, I've been on record saying that Malta, with or without Smart City, is already in dire straits, in that there are too many needs for staff, professional staff in ICT, and we are producing too few. So as St. Martin's, we have proven that where there is a will, there is a way. Anybody who likes the science, because you have to enjoy working in ICT, and there is the will to be able to embark into a career into this particular science, then we can provide the path for these people to achieve that. I always also keep one thing in my mentality. I've used this creed for my own life, but I also pass it on to my students, in that students always have to look for space. It is useless to embark on a career today that was paying well yesterday. You have to look and see, until I finish my degree, what careers are going to be developed to that point in time. And I am positively sure that the computer game sector, the creative computing sector, is going to be the career of the near future. And students who embark today on these types of degrees are going to find the good jobs in 3 to 4 years' time. Obviously, everybody has to have the right expectations. I mean, today in Malta, we have people who are earning 60,000 to 70,000 euro per annum in salary in ICT jobs. Obviously, these are the people who have been doing ICT for 10, 15 years. Sometimes we have people who just graduate and expect to have that salary. But actually, even for new, fresh graduates, salary scales are very well, some in the region of between 20 and 30,000 euro, that for somebody at the age of 20, 21 is a fair salary for the effort that they are doing within their degrees. So the opportunities are there, and we are open to accept these students who have the will and the aspiration to be able to achieve such a career.
With those remarks, we come to an end to this far-reaching interview. Thanks to all participants. I'm sure that it was very informative, especially for those considering to apply for a degree offered by St. Martin's. Thank you very much.